Welcome back to Access Live. Take a good look at Amanda Bynes. She looks so healthy and happy. That's on the cover of Paper magazine.
Yeah, Amanda is opening up about the breakdown that forced her to step away from the public eye and what was behind it. She says she's 4 years sober, but it's been quite a journey to get there.
It's been quite a comeback. And joining us now from New York is the woman who sat down with Amanda for the big interview, executive editor of Paper magazine, Abby Schreiber. All right, Abby, tell us how this interview came about in the first place.
Well, we were thinking a lot about who we wanted to feature on the cover of our annual Break the Internet issue. And the more we had conversations with the editorial team, we thought to ourselves, you know, there are so many conversations going on in the country and around the world about the internet, and not just all the benefits we get from it, but all of the downsides too. And so we started to think more about, you know, people whose lives have really been impacted by social media for the better or for the worse. And we turned to Amanda because she was really one of the first people in the public eye whose struggles and challenges were really captured almost in real time on social media and on Twitter, of course. And, you know, many members of our team, including myself, are around her age and our peers who remember growing up watching her, and we remain fans of her. So we wanted to check in and see how she was doing and what her journey is like today. So it was a lot of little threads that came together in the end.
But Abby, what convincing did it take? Did you have to convince her to do this?
You know, actually, it was pretty remarkable because when we first reached out, we had no idea whether she would be open to working with us on a story, if she was even ready to enter the spotlight again or share her story. But, you know, I have to give a little plug to our team over at Paper. She turns out was a reader and a fan of the publication. And so from the beginning, it was a very collaborative process and wonderful to work with her and tell her story.
You talk about the image that we all had of her, this kind of good girl image for such a long time. I imagine that was probably something that she was battling against very early on in her career and also as a teenager. Did she talk about what it was like for her as a young actress having to battle that image that was portrayed in the media about her being this quintessential good girl?
You know, she didn't actually get into too many specifics about the pressures she may or may not have felt as far as an image goes, but she did say, you know, she never really, especially as a teenager, was that interested in hitting the Hollywood party scene so much. But that being said, she was still a teenager, experimenting and making friends and trying new things the way many of us may have done back when we were 16. So I think it was later that she said that her relationship with the nightlife scene and issues with substances, you know, evolved. But it didn't sound like she had too much of a conflict at a young age. If anything, she was sort of bemused that she had been given this sort of good girl reputation opposite some of her peers. But in fact, you know, more than being good or bad, she was just a regular teenager. And I think that's the most important thing, that Hollywood and the media often likes to create these narratives or labels about young stars, especially young women. But for the most part, you know, famous or not, we're all just people trying to find our way and try new things. And so was Amanda.
But for her, I mean, she really did blame everything that happened was the drug use, right? And it all started with marijuana, and then she experimented with other things, and that became the source of the problem. And she's now 4 years sober.
Yeah, she has had a remarkable journey. And one of the really impactful things about our conversation was how self-aware she is. And she looks back at that time and you know, was open about having some regrets and feeling very sorry about the way her behavior may have caused hurt or pain to others. But she's really come a long way in the last several years and can talk about some of those experiences with a real mixture of grace, sorrow sometimes, humor in other moments. And it was remarkable to hear her describe her experience.
Who's her support system now? Like, who does she go to and relate to?
Well, she was candid about having really sort of shrunk her her circle. She said at one point, you know, she was really looking for quality over quantity, and it's clear she has a wonderful community and support system at her school at FIDM, the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles. I had the chance to meet some of her advisors and the head of the school, and it's clear they have just a wonderful rapport.
And mom
with
and
Amanda.
dad, is she back
And
close?
mom and dad,
Good.
Yeah.
yes. It sounds like she has a really close-knit, great relationship with her parents and older siblings, and has made some really wonderful friendships.
Before we
at
let
school.
you go, she's also wanting to get back into acting.
Yes.
She's
Could
not
this be
retired
the-
completely, right?
Could this be the comeback?
I think so. You heard it here first, but yes, I think so. She said she's excited to start acting and is going to approach it with an open mind, to be open and excited about all types of projects, whether drama, comedy, TV, film. So I think there's some exciting things ahead for her.
I hope
Have you
so.
talked to her since this? Quickly, because they're playing music on us. But I
Yeah.
hope she knows how great
we've
it is.
emailed. Yes, we've been talking a little bit about the story, and you know, I hope that this is a friendship that will continue.
And your
She's a
interview is
remarkable
breaking
woman.
the internet,
It
so
is.
job well done.
Oh,
Thank you.
thanks,
We're
Abby.
happy to see
Magazine.
your comeback, yeah.